Hello, everybody, and welcome to Choice, Change, and Action podcast. You're with me, your host, Simone Milasas. I am at Phrygian Beach. I'm at the place I call home in Australia in this moment. And I'm joined by Miss Sarah Watt, who is at her new home in Tasmania. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, Simone.
I'm actually colder than you. It's like,
It's so
I'm like,
warm here. Oh, this house is really cool. It's designed really well. I'm in my office right now. I've had the heater on all day, so it's warm in here. But the other end of the house, the sun catches, and it's all glass on one side, so it really utilizes the heat really well. Yeah, it's quite warm.
okay, well, let's just see. It's actually 19 degrees here in Phrygian, so I shouldn't really be
It won't
complaining
quite
about
be that. I
the
think it's about 12 here today, but we've got some cold
color.
mornings coming up. We've got some negative ones, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, some things excite some and don't excite others. I love that. So, but here's the thing. I love that you've chosen to move down to Tasmania and the joy that I can see in your world and the videos and the animals that you have, etc. Is I'm so happy for you. It's really cool. It's amazing. I would like everybody in the world to have somewhere that they love being, that they get to call home. And one of the things I've realized so much is, and I've just spent 3 months in Europe, and I so look at the whole world as my home, but there's different aspects that I enjoy. And one is like having the things around me that I know that create a familiarity, a comfort, like a big hug, And my house in Phrygian, I love it. I come home and it is like a big hug. I'm a little shocked with I know it's 19 degrees. It is a beautiful day today, actually. I'm about to go for a walk outside afterwards. But it has been a little chilly, like the gas heater on and things like that. So. But here we are. So I always want to talk to you, and I can't wait to see you and see your place in Tasmania. Unfortunately, I'm looking at the dates and I'm like, I don't think it's going to be till November. Um, but you have been, and we'll put in the subscription notes as well, if you want to join up for Sarah's newsletters and everything that she does. She does another podcast as well. It's called Talk with Horses. Yeah.
Let's talk horses.
Let's talk horses. Let's talk horses. Like you say horse, and Sarah's like, what?
Yeah.
So, and look, these emails that she sends out randomly, I've noticed I've started reading them like word by word. It's like they give me a sense of peace in my world. And one of them that I read, it was when you were still up in Queensland, and you were talking about how you woke up excited, which you do. You and I are very familiar, similar like that. Like we both wake up and go, "Oh, coffee! Oh, creation! Oh, this! Oh, life, living!" We're good morning people, basically. Um, you said that you had this like a level of enthusiasm, and you're walking down to see your horses, and then you described what you chose, what showed up, etc. And can you just walk us through that if you can remember the one I'm talking about? Because that's why I went, oh, I want to talk about this.
Totally, because it's pretty much like every day. I mean, horses, and one of my horses is quite exuberant like me, but horses are still not like they love to be pet and cuddled a little bit, but from what I've found, they much prefer it to be, I don't know, you'd almost want to say like left wanting a little bit. Like I've kind of learned you touch a horse until just before they want you to stop, and then you stop and they're kind of like, why did you stop? And then you can leave them, and it has this energy of, whereas I used to do this thing of like, oh my God, I just want to squeeze you. And I'd go up and like get all in their faces, and they'd like take it, take it, take it. And then they'd be like, fuck off and leave me alone. And they'd walk away. But this particular morning, and like most mornings, it's winter in Queensland as well as Tasmania, and the sun comes up a little bit later. It's a little bit cooler in the mornings. It's a little bit quieter, right? Like there's a different pace in the winter. Yeah. And I walk down, and like I do every morning, because I go and feed them and I say good morning. And, Ollie was standing there sort of just half asleep in the sun, and Willow was just off in the distance somewhere. And I did that thing of like, oh, I'd love to just walk up to him right now and just smooch him on the face. But I was like, and I was like, what if instead of pulling him into where I'm at, I kind of went and looked at what he required and where he was at. So I literally joined him as though I was one of the third horse in the herd, and I turned my body into the sun as they had theirs, and I took some breaths. And not only did I have that communion with them then, where I felt them relax, like, because they know when she comes, it probably means we're going to get, a little bit molested by her. So their bodies their body's all relaxed, but it was also what it created for my body, because it was also these moments that I'm finding more and more of these days. And just these moments, literally these moments in the day where I choose to stop and face the sun or look at the trees or just be aware of my body and take a breath. And just the space and the relaxation that can be found there. So it's just a really cool moment of me um, realizing what they actually required and them showing me something that I required without knowing it, I guess. And from there, like everything with my horses, I walk away and I'm like, oh, they taught me another freaking lesson. And I adapt that into everything. I then start actually paying attention to doing that more often.
Um, okay, I want to mention something about that, but first of all, I want to ask you because you've got two horses, two dogs, 8 cows,
Yep.
8 cows, 10 geese, or
No,
something.
one
One
goose
goose,
and 10 guinea fowl. I mean, sorry,
10 guinea.
9 guinea fowl, 9 guinea fowl, 9.
Something happened to number 10.
We
No.
had a little accident with number 10.
Okay, so tell me what the difference is you notice with how to be with all of those different animals.
Yeah.
Because I know
I
your
mean,
dogs. It's like if you did the same thing with your dogs, they'd be like, "What the fuck, mom?" Like, and they'd be all over you. Yeah.
yeah. Well, even them now, because they've found it was a big uprooting for them moving, 3 states, and it was sort of a week or 2 before we left home and then a week on the road, and now we've been here just 3 weeks, 2 days ago. So we've just been here for 3 weeks, and now I feel like they're realizing, "Oh, this is where we're staying now, like, this is our home." Like, it feels like they're sort of like, "Oh, okay, this we can kind of lay our roots down a little bit." And that even changes because you've got a male dog. He's 6 months old now, so he's kind of reaching maturity a little bit. And then you've got Frankie, who's always been a dog of her own. So there's like a whole dynamic with them. I mean, the guinea fowl are hilarious. Talk about, you could just sit there and watch them all day. Like, it's these 9 little chaos walking birds that are like, they wouldn't be in the house sometimes. They're like at the door and the dogs are just like watching them. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And then they're over here. And then the goose, well, we've gotten to be really good friends. So she follows me around and we like talk to each other and I feed her some of the horses' food. And the cows are really cool as well because they're off in the distance. I can see them now, and we don't keep them near the house at the moment because there's more feed for them in the paddocks further away. But we go and feed them twice a day. So twice a day they come over and they're like, "Oh, hi, are you here to feed us?" Um, I mean, I get why people go vegetarian because they are totally sentient beings. Like, you can just see their personalities. They all are very different from one another. I mean, I'm not going to stop eating them because I also love the taste, but you can see why people are like that. And it makes you just want to care for the world more. Like, it makes me just want to be a better version of myself and create a world where everything, for however they long they get to live here, and whether we eat them or we don't, but where we get to honor each other and give each other a good life. It's like we're all here to share this beautiful planet, whether we chose to be humans or whether we're a cow or a horse. It's like, how much can we actually contribute to each other to have a beautiful and joyful life?
I love that. And did you know that cows um, actually choose friends? Like they choose best friends. They like to have a best friend. I stayed at an Airbnb a while back in Mullaney, which is in Queensland as well, and they had a couple of cows. And so, of course, me being me, I started like researching cows and all this information. And they had a lot of information on them because they said, "Hey, look, if you want to go see the cows, you can feed them, you can do all this," like at the Airbnb. And that's when I learned that cows actually like to have a best friend. And you see those random videos of a dog and a cow that have become best friends. Well, that's why. It's like
Yeah.
they like to look for that. And I love the way you just spoke about all the animals too. Yeah, I love meat too much too. Not to I don't love meat too much not to not eat it. It's like that's a whole different,
Yeah.
That's a whole different discussion and a whole thing about how we breed things and everything like that as well. Like, I love the place I get my chicken from at Noosa Farmers Market. He's so cute. What he does, the guy, he has chickens on his farm, and he doesn't take them off premises to slaughter them and butcher them, etc. He does it all on premises, and he does it in a way that he perceives, which I also get is conducive to a death that's a bit easier. He even plays classical music to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, but I love getting the chicken there. Everything about
Yeah.
it has feels good, from the person
Yeah.
selling it to me, eating the chicken, to the whole thing. And it's like, that's the world that I would like to live in, where it's a
Yeah.
constant state of contribution and
Yeah.
gratitude and kindness,
Yeah.
and being that. I guess I've been looking at recently the like what would it be like to be a leader of the future, and be a leader of the future by the choices I make and what I choose, that on my point of view creates a greater living and a greater planet.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's I'm not saying what I think is right, it's just what I look at, you know and how I be with the earth. And sometimes I think the earth is way too peoply. If we take the people out, and and when I say peoply, here's an exercise, guys. If you're listening to this, you can try this. The next time you are, like, even at a family gathering, or friends, colleagues, work, people, even in a supermarket, whatever it is, just give it a moment. Even if you have to shut your eyes, give it a moment, and all those beings that are around you, take the people out, because people do this image thing, they do this rightness wrongness thing, they do a proving thing, they do a sharing thing. And if you look at it maybe with friends and family, and they haven't seen each other in a while, and if you indulge in that energy and now just go and take the people out, who are the beings? What are the beings asking for? It's the same body standing in front of you, but it's a different element to look at and a different element to receive. And I will say, I like when you said the like going choosing moments to just stop. um let's talk about that with our bodies as well, because what have you noticed with your body when you choose those moments to just stop and be?
Well, I've heard you talking a lot about this just on the things recently we've been on together. And what I've realized is my body desires things that I never have given it before. Like I've always given it things that I thought it desired. And I've always done things with it that I thought I needed to do in order to create a body. Like, interestingly, with everything, like, because, everything we do involves our bodies. But at the moment, I'm starting to realize, like, it's kind of really pulling everything apart. So it's sort of hard to kind of talk about just yet. And it's interesting also how much the land and the animals are also entwined in this, where because it really relates to everything, but it's sort of this thing of like, what if everything you ever knew about your body you found out was a lie? I'm sort of in that space at the moment, like where I'm like, what, stopping and breathing for 30 seconds could actually create 10 times more than going to the gym for an hour? Or like, as far as like a communion and a connection and like a future creating exercise. Yeah, so it's really this full on discovery mode at the moment. And I'm so grateful for this place too, because you just perceive how much also all of the things here. I mean, it's fortunate living in a place like Tasmania because it's not very people. There's 500,000 people in the whole entire state. That's it. 500,000 people in the whole state. Most cities contain 4 times that amount of people, at least. So it is very fortunate here that it's giving me. It's almost like I've gone on a bit of a fast forward, like a rocket ship with it, because there is just so much space available. But yeah,
Mm.
it's kind of this thing of, yeah, that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So I love that you're unpacking this and unraveling this as well, because when you choose that, I know it invites me to something different, and I know when I choose something like that, it invites, like, you or others also to unravel all of this as well. And I know both of us over the years have done certain things where it is the gym, the workout, the food that you eat, etc. And I'm not just saying to eliminate that. But one thing I came up with recently with a chat with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, is I was asking him about certain things. I was like, I'm looking at doing this and this and this. And he said, why the fuck wouldn't you trust it? He said, why would you choose that? Something outside of you. And I went, huh. And it's not to say don't eat a certain way or don't move a certain way if you hear it. But the point was, I was looking for an answer outside of me rather than going, oh, and I went, oh, I don't trust my body. And I've
Yeah.
really been looking at that in the last few days. And it's so interesting. And because I've been super tired since I got to Australia. It just, anyway, it doesn't, no rhyme or reason, just super tired. And my body has been asking to relax. And I start doing these, "Oh, I've got to get this done, got to do this, got to handle this, da da da, you know." And uh, I said to him, oh, I get the sense that my body just wants to go outside and go for a walk. Now, I was thinking that I was being good going, not going for a run, not going to the gym, just go for a walk. And he went, your body just wants to go outside and
Yeah.
just stand there. And as soon as he said it, I went, because I was tired, and I went, wow, you're right. It does. Like what I did. So I'm not. This is not. And please, guys, use this if you're listening to this. I'm not looking at this is what this person said. That so this must be right. Okay. As they ask me something or suggest something, I see how it lands in my world,
Mhm.
and I noticed that the energy, indulging in the energy of going outside and walking was one thing. And then the energy of going outside and just standing in my backyard was one thing. And I went, oh, standing in my backyard has way more space to it.
Yeah.
So I just went and stood there with like no shoes on in the grass and, said hello to, I've got bananas growing. It's very exciting. And my pineapples are like about a year along now. So pineapples take 2 years to grow, and just saying hello to all the trees and everything. And I noticed, like, I looked up and there's one tree I always look at, like, because I all of them, but I don't stand there and just stare at it. And I noticed all this moss growing on the tree that I hadn't noticed before, and just the formation. And there's another tree that I looked at and I went, oh, it's got this big black mark on it. It looks like it's been hit by lightning at some stage, which is not unusual for where I live. But I would not have noticed that before. And it doesn't matter if I didn't notice it, and it doesn't matter that I do notice it. It's the fact of just being still and words and perceiving the space around me and perceiving my body with that changed so much for me in that moment rather than I've got to go out and walk and I've got to go out and do this. Admittedly, after this podcast, I am going to go for just a really cruisy walk. I just can feel my hip flexors wanting to like, boop, 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 but I'm also
Mhm.
not as tired as I was the other day. And I get it's like really looking at the energy of what your body requires and what the earth can contribute to your body as well as you choose.
Yep.
So with moving down to Tasmania as well and living on the land, because you've mentioned the land there a couple of times, what's your sense of the land in Tasmania, the land there, and I want to say what it's asking for. Like we're lucky, we get to go to quite a few places around the world, and Costa Rica being one of them, which is a very, the nature there is like loud. Do you have a sense of the difference of like say Costa Rica, Tasmania, up here in Queensland, and all of that? Or if so, what can you hear? What are you noticing?
Yeah, and I'm still it's interesting though, like I said, we've been here 3 weeks, and when we first got here compared to now even, like, how much more alive everything feels, like, I feel like the people that owned the place before us just did not have a lot of love in their world, and I use the word love as in the type of people that don't look out of their eyeballs and see anything kind of beautiful or to be grateful for. Or so the house as well as the land sort of just had this unappreciated energy to it. And even just from this 3 weeks, like it's so every time I look, whether it's I mean, today we have an absolutely beautiful winter's day here and everything's shining and, everything looks amazing. But even on rainy days, I mean, we had a lot of rain over the time we've been here as well. Like this place is phenomenal with how quickly it changes and the wildness of the weather here is so, I swear my horses were like, at one stage, they're like, have you dropped us into hell? Like they're standing in this paddock with 50-kilometer wind gusts blowing through and
Oh,
like sideways rain. And they're just
yeah,
like, but you see, even their bodies, like Willow's whole body has changed. Her
yeah,
muscle structure has changed. Like she looks like a horse. Yeah,
yeah.
she looks like a horse who's alive, whose body is alive. But I think overall, Simone, what the land desires from us, no matter where we are, is consciousness. Like, I think when you are asking me that question, it's the one thing that comes up, whether we're traveling and we're in a place like Costa Rica or we're at home where we live. The land just desires us to have more consciousness. And I think through that, because I'm still not sure here, like I'm still playing with regenerative farming and setting up all these things. And I know I've been here for 3 weeks. It's like, come on, Sarah, you're probably going to need to put in like 10 years forecast here. It's not like something's going to be created overnight, but it's also like every single day that I choose to just be more conscious than I was before and be that level of like love and communion with the land, it just you just feel it
Mm,
like open and blossom and grow. And yeah, so I think the whole world, really, if there's one thing that we could give this planet, I think it's just to walk upon it and try our best to keep being more and more conscious, whatever that looks like for you. And I
yeah.
love Access describes it where everything is included and nothing is judged. So you start looking at stopping a little bit more judgment, being out of judgment a little bit more every day, having more kindness in your world, asking more questions, like all of those things. And then everything around you changes, but especially I think that the planet and the nature and the critters all
Mm.
take some big sighs of relief.
Uh, Dr. Dane here on a call that he did early this morning, which I was not awake for. He was talking about the earth spirit, like a whole earth spirit. Like, you have nature spirits. And as soon as he said it, or the planet spirit, I went, and I went, yes. I was like, if you don't perceive nature spirits, it's like it doesn't mean you're wrong. There's no rightness or wrongness. But what if you could start tapping into the energy of the earth where you are? Of even you don't have to be somewhere geographically to receive from that either. And you're talking about like being more conscious with it, etc. And one of the things I always notice is it's like the earth is saying, hey, will you receive more, please? Like, will you just receive? And what I notice, I love the water as well. And I've got, the Pacific Ocean across the road from me. Man, did I notice a difference between the Pacific Ocean and then I've just been at the Mediterranean Sea and the Adriatic Sea, and just the difference in the energy of the seas, and also I want to say like the history. Like there was a lot of places that we were in the Mediterranean that I was like, God, you could feel like Roman
Mm,
Empire fighting, like, pirate ships and everything like that. Whereas here, I always notice on this coast, it's got more of a indigenous energy to it. And I hadn't
yes.
looked at that before until like recently. And I was like, oh, of course, there's this like vibration and an energy that different parts of the world holds in place. And it's like, what can we be that would unravel anything that's stuck with the earth? I mean, the earth does not have a point of view, the earth does not have a judgment, but anything that's stuck with the earth that we can be something different with it. And one of the things that Sarah just mentioned too about like a little less judgment today, please. A tool that I use, and maybe Sarah has one too, and I've been using it a lot lately, is allowance, and especially with myself. Because the first thing I do if I'm, judging someone or something or myself, it's like, okay, if I was choosing allowance right now, then, you know, what else would I choose? Because a judgment sort of tends to focus in and has this like a hammer effect, whereas being an allowance allows everything to dissipate. The situation or the person or whatever may still be in existence like that, and yet it allows for me. I'm noticing it allows this dissipation and an opening of an energetic possibility that wasn't there before. So
Yeah.
I would use allowance a lot. I love it. Sarah's just yawning, and it's not because she's bored. It's because of the unconsciousness and anti-consciousness also coming off as well. So, is there a tool that you would use with that
Yeah.
as well?
And I think it's just a variation of allowance, because allowance really is kind of the tool that gets you there. But at the moment, I have been like a lot with like, why am I making that matter to me? Like, and it's usually when you go to a judgment about something, you're like, where I'm going to judge this, but then I'm like, but does that fucking even matter? Like, why am I making that even and because it you yeah, so I think it's really that allowance tool and, when you move to a place and you notice the things that the people have done before you, or you notice something about it and you go into a judgment of that, like, "Oh, they shouldn't have done that," or "They shouldn't have cut so many trees down," or "Why did they do this?" But it's like, if I make that matter rather than looking at, "Okay, what are the possibilities that I can use my energy for?" It's so interesting how quickly our judgments, our points of view, what we make matter to us will completely derail us from like our potential, like what we're actually capable of, as beings, like you pointed out before. And I think these judgments and these points of view we take are our people side. It's the people side of all of us where we have that ourselves as well. And so, yeah, I kind of just laugh at myself now because I'm like and sometimes, you'll kind of be thinking about it later even, like, you're kind of still annoyed about something, and I'm like, "Okay, Sarah, this is funny. Like, why does that matter to you?" And I ask myself that question, and I'm like, "That matters not at all." Like, the things that matter to me are the things that make me feel like this face, like, happy and excited, like, they're the things that matter, but it's just so interesting how quickly we allow the
You know,
judgments of these things creep
I'm
in.
reading this book. I'm just gonna Google it just to see if I make sure I get the right topic, even though it's in my, bedroom. Um, I'm pretty sure hmm, thought it was called The Long Walk Home. Hang on. Um, maybe it's The Long Walk. And it's based on a true story, and
Yeah.
it's, anyway, I'll find it, and I will put it in the show notes as well.
Yeah,
But
please. I would love to
it's,
see it. Yeah.
well, here's the thing, I, uh I started reading because I was trying to go to bed earlier than, here it is. It's called The Long Walk, okay? And it's a book recounting the escape of Slavomir Ravitz and six others from a Soviet labor camp in Siberia. And it's so amazing, The Long Walk, okay? And like the torture that they went through, like during World War II, and the torture that they went through, and then even how they had to walk from Russia to Siberia in the like Siberia, like Tasmania winter, nah, man,
Can't
nothing,
even. No.
yeah, and the clothing that they had on, and everything that they had on, and everything, and then what they got to eat or not eat, as the case may be, and all this sort of stuff. And the way he talks about different things and engagement and really going inside as well and having a look at what's important to him. And the other day I had a sore finger. I was like, man, I was like, slapping me and what he put up with, and I'm like, my sore finger doesn't matter anymore. Like it sort of put everything into perspective. I think you need to read books like this. The problem is it didn't do its job because I kept trying to read so that I could go to bed
No,
before
yes.
midnight. I feel like 1:30 a.m. going, just one more chapter, one more chapter. They're like, they're in Siberia now, and reading away. It's really, really good though. I think it's good to look at things like that, to look at the perspective of what you're making matter that doesn't
Yep.
fucking, you know?
Yeah. I saw
Like,
a post on Facebook, like, just this morning and or yesterday, I thought it was so good, and it was exactly this point. It was like, "Okay, imagine you were born in" and I'm gonna butcher everything here, but I'm gonna try and give you the gist of it. Imagine you were born in 1920. When you
mm,
turn 14, it's like World War One breaks out. And then by the time you're 18, the Spanish flu breaks out, killing 50 million people around the world. By the time you turn 28, the Great Depression starts, seeing, this level of unemployment, this level of death. And then when you turn 45, World War II breaks out, killing, you know, 70 million people. And then the Holocaust. And then it's like, so it's like, if you were born in this year and you lived to be 75, this is what you would have seen occur on this planet in that time frame, and the amount of people, like, the human race was nearly wiped out like countless amount of times in those 50 or 60 odd years. And I was like, we are so fucking spoiled these days. We live in our friggin' little balls of cotton wool and complain about the littlest things. And yeah, I
I know.
thought that was that
Well,
thing
my
as well.
dad was born in 1922 in
Yeah.
Lithuania. So,
Yep.
and he escaped during World War II, and he, all these different stories that he has. And it's interesting because I was telling someone the other night, he always used to say to me, "It's good to go to bed hungry." But I know that he was taught that because they didn't have any food. So that, but he just started living it, which is not unhealthy to do that. Actually, it's quite good to go to bed hungry. But it's something that I grew up with because he would just say, "It's good to go to bed on an empty stomach." But I
Yeah.
could see that that's what was put across. But I will say, my father, God bless him, was a beautiful man. um, he was also always grateful for the smallest of things that showed up. And it's like, what if we could flip the judgment that we have of anything and anyone into gratitude? What what would our lives be like? Like, what would your living be like? What if you could, as the original reason why I wanted to talk to Sarah today was that motion of not rushing into everything that you think is appropriate, but maybe standing still and breathing in the air and facing your body to the sun with your feet on the ground and asking what else is possible.
Yep.
Do you have anything else you want to add, Sarah?
Just I think probably the other thing, because a lot of people have asked me, and it kind of weaves in with this, like the main question people say to me is, "Why Tasmania? Like, why did you choose Tasmania?" And I'm sort of like, I could give them the reasons, like, we got 100 acres here for like $1 million. You get so much more for your money here. We love the nature and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, if I look back over, the 6 or 12 months that went into us arriving here, it was just really a series of small choices and following the energy of things. And so there's things I look at in my life that I'd like to achieve, quote unquote, especially things around like my horses and maybe a certain style of riding, or maybe learning a language or something that's kind of like out of my day to day stuff, because your
Mhm.
day to day is also important, and you love that. But just to invite everyone, watching and listening here, what small choices can I make today? And not even necessarily knowing the outcome. Like I didn't know 12 months ago I would be living in Tasmania, but somehow I'm here. And I think when I look back at it, it's honestly just because of these small choices that I somehow knew the future that it would create. And I just kept choosing the things that led me here, kind of thing. Like, yeah. So I guess that's my invitation to you guys. Like, what small choices can you make today that would mean in 12 months' time you'd be somewhere completely different or doing something completely different than you ever maybe imagined that you would?
It's a really good point to make too, and not making choices that you expect instantaneous,
Mm.
glorification or change or something like that too. Like if I look at, I have my food forest in my backyard. I've got 24 fruit trees. I've got 12 banana trees. I'm just getting bananas on one tree, and I'm not using all the banana trees for bananas. I'm using them for water wells. So, and I looked at my fig tree, yesterday, and I'm like, it's got like 3 years before it even slightly looks at, having olives on it, let alone like all the other ones. But I didn't build the food forest. I didn't plant the food forest so that I could have harvest next month. Now I've got like lots of rosemary and parsley and stuff like that, like my herbs, but it's for a future. So
Yeah.
it's like I love that you said that too, Sarah. It's like what choices can you make today that allows a different, greater future to show up for us all here on this amazing, beautiful planet.
Yeah.
Sarah, I can't wait to get a really nice bottle of wine because they have really good wineries down in Tasmania and some epic cheese,
Yeah.
etc. And sit on your porch and just chat and drink wine and eat cheese and hear the sounds of the earth near you. I will be coming there sometime in the next few months
Yeah.
when I return from South America, and I'll be in South America for September and October.
And I think it'll
So
be perfect because I think the temperature will much more suit you and your body at that time of the year anyway. So I
I
think
do
it was
too.
definitely a good choice.
You won't just hear me complaining about the weather. So
And we
I
get
can't
such
wait to
long
see you.
days. By then, you get sort of 15 hours of sun by that time of like the days get so long. The sun's up from 6 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. So lots of time to
Cool.
enjoy.
I'm very excited and grateful that I get to come down there and see you. So thank you for being on here, Sarah. We will put all the details how to contact you in the subscription notes. But can you just rattle off like your Instagram, website, your podcast for me?
Probably just go to sarahwatt.com.au because I'm Australian.com.au, Sarah Watt. And there you'll find links to everything. My podcast is there, all of my social media handles. Yeah. And, I thankfully have some very creative and amazing people that work with me that keep that wheel turning because sometimes I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden they post amazing things for me. And I'm so grateful for them because I love social media for that way and being able to share the things that so many people are like, oh, I'm enjoying your journey so much. So it makes me grateful to know that you guys can have an insight into this. And please reach out to me if there's ever anything I can contribute to as well.
And I highly recommend jumping onto Sarah's podcast too. It's like you don't even have to ride horses or touch the horse or anything to get something from it. Some of the people
Mm.
that she's had on there, it's like just hearing the way that a little bit like what Sarah and I have been talking about today, hearing the way they engage with animals and engage with the earth and etc. has been a real gift to actually listen to a podcast. So I'm super grateful for it, Sarah.
Thank
So
you. And like Gary Douglas said, horses are our helpmates, and that's something I'm discovering about them. They want us to have and be more of ourselves, and that's really what the podcast is about. So, yeah.
cool. So thank you for being here, and I will see you next time, guys. Don't forget, subscribe, write a review. I would love all of that, and big hugs and kisses to all of you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.